be tackling a topic that I think hits a lot of women close to home. Sometimes maybe you feel like you got it all together on the outside, power career woman, but on the inside, maybe you're lacking a little bit of self-confidence. Maybe the people around you, your friends, your family think, oh, she's got her life completely together. But on the inside, maybe you feel like you're falling apart. Maybe you can't share that with those around you because you're so concerned and worried about what others will think. Well, here to talk today about inner beauty, unlocking your inner beauty, and really understanding that you as you are enough, is Nicole Pillow Johnson. And she is the creator of the Inner Beauty Project. Nicole, that journey in some cases really starts with acknowledging, hey, there are pieces of myself that do need work. Coming face to face with the reality that I have something that I need to address.
Yes, Shayla, thank you so much. And I really appreciate just kind of how you've started this chat, because it's so true. We can look like we have it all together on the outside, and we're, walking out our careers and different roles that we're fulfilling. And yet on the inside, it doesn't necessarily match with how we're feeling. And I believe that there is something very powerful when the two can actually come together. But to your point, there's also that space where we have to first even just, I guess, be real enough to be like, yeah, it's not all there. It's not all together. I don't really feel at my fullest, if you will.
Absolutely. And the journey to living your truest, most authentic life, uncovering or unlocking your inner beauty, you really have to unpack your why are you having trouble showing up? Why do you feel the way that you do? And really confront some pieces that may feel painful.
Absolutely. One of the things that I would say is that, often we don't recognize the belief patterns that are not serving our best positive self-interest. There can be beliefs about who we are, or beliefs about, what we're capable of, or maybe things we wanted to try, but we don't, trust, can we, fully accomplish these things. But again, I would say that these limiting patterns in our thought process can often be inconsistent, if you will, with what we truly are capable of and the beauty that we do have. And so I think that is one of the things that can really interrupt living into our fullest potential, how we see ourselves. And often how we see ourselves is very much influenced by what the world determines is beautiful, what the world decides is successful, where a lot of external ways of measuring our beauty and measuring our success. But what I have personally found on my journey, which has been like you said, kind of a lifelong journey of really uncovering my own why, is that it really doesn't come from all of those external places, not the true foundation of our power.
And it's so true that the world can really clutter our view of ourselves,
yes.
Our view of what is valuable or what should be valuable or where we place our value. And instead of helping us move closer to living what might be our own individual best life, showing up in the way that is most real for the person that we actually are, we veer away from that journey and into one where we're trying to fit ourselves into a box, trying to be all these things that the world or those folks around us say should be valued or where we should place our value. And what the world sees as valuable may be the furthest thing from what your own journey of inner beauty should be, or where your value for you personally and the life that you're in should be. And it kind of makes the whole process confusing and probably in some ways takes you a little bit longer to get to that sense of self.
Oh, yes. I mean, if you think about, and I like what you said, it really delays that process because it gets muddled. We're trying to live into what does the world expect of me? What do even individuals in our personal lives expect of me? The demands of our work environment, the expectations of who we are or how we're, what's acceptable and how we show up. And so I do believe that I think there's so many layers of external expectations that we can begin to filter. And when we do that and our own, I guess we filter who we are through those expectations, we're moving further away from really uncovering that true authentic you, that authentic me.
And it's really an emotional journey when you think about it, when you really start to unpack the pieces of who you are and the pieces of you that maybe you had to hide or tuck away, or the things that you were afraid to share with your friends and family because you didn't want them to see you in the truest form of who you are. Just all the things that people do to maintain an image at the expense of being themselves and living their most authentic life. That's a lot of weight and a lot of baggage to carry in a lot of ways.
You're absolutely. And I believe that we can almost like hold ourselves hostage by that. What will people think? And so then we don't want that, the feeling of judgment or the feeling of I'll be, maybe looked at a certain way. And so we hold back. And I really, one of the things that is so powerful about discovering our inner beauty is that we realize that our past does not define who we are, that we can actually honor our, should I say, like what I'll call our sacred history and things we've been through, and like the real raw stuff and choices we've made, just things that, maybe don't look as becoming to what's acceptable. But man, first of all, a lot of those things are part of what shaped us, but it's not what it's those things that have happened to us doesn't define who we are. And so there's a real freedom that comes when we give ourselves that permission to be like, you know what, I can speak about the broken pieces and still know that that's not a reflection of who I am today and the beautiful person that I am, and so I believe that is one of the things that we have to find a way of being even unconditional love towards ourselves. Even if the world and the people around us don't offer it, that we can actually offer that unconditional acceptance of who we are to ourselves.
And really honoring, like you said, all pieces of who you are and the pieces that you had to overcome to become the person that you are today. It's not embarrassing. It's a part of your story and a part of your journey, because you wouldn't be who you are today if you hadn't had those experiences, if you hadn't gone through those trials, if you hadn't, experienced the setbacks and the moments that pushed you forward, because every little piece of it helped shape the person that you are today.
Yes, I'd say like embracing our stories is one of the bravest, most beautiful things that we can do. There's beauty in that. There's bravery in embracing our stories and where we've come from, or the things that we've overcome, or even some of the things we're still going through. And so being able to embrace that story and yet not allow it to define us in who we are and in our value, therein lies a very empowered space.
And once you find that courage to unlock the things that are painful, the journey that you've lived, as I like to say, unpack your lived life.
Yes.
Sometimes once you find that courage to unlock those painful places, you're also allowing yourself to step into the fullness of who you are, because those things that you may have been afraid to talk about, or the things that you're afraid to share, once you sort of release them, it's sort of like you're giving yourself permission to step into the fullness of who you are.
Absolutely, Shayla. So well said. And I'll go a step further. It also allows those spaces an opportunity to heal. Like, you know, one of the things is that where I think some of the true beauty that we have on the inside, it's almost like it gets trapped when it's stuffed behind unhealed, you know, some of those sacred wounds. And what does it look like when we're able to, you know, maybe shine a light into some of those areas and places and give them a chance to have healing and give them a chance. So acknowledgement in itself is healing. And so I do really believe that, yes, it gives you permission to be more of who you are when you're willing to do that.
And for people that are listening to this and they're wondering, where do I begin? I'm working through some things right now. You do have a program coming up that can help people begin that journey.
Yes. So I do have a training program that is coming up.
As a child and growing up, what did I learn about inner beauty? I would say not that much. My mother and father didn't necessarily feel like they had to teach me that.
What is self-worth, first of all? It's something I don't think I've ever had in my life. Something that I think was just kind of hush-hush in our household.
Didn't really learn about the deep beauty inside, about who I really am, like learning how to accept myself. The labels that life, society, or my own family put on me were just calling a slot or easy to get to. I kind of run my life a few years by that.
When I was growing up, a lot of lies was told. I was told that I'm ugly. I was told I'm not smart, dumb. I was told you're different, you don't look like others. Those words really, it went a long way to speak negative things to my person.
Really is designed to give individuals a foundation to discover their inner beauty, to, you know, really unlock their fullest potential.
A lot of people say to reinvent themselves. For me, this was inventing myself, because I have never really known who I was.
God had made me to do something different in life and just to kind of respect myself, so I don't have to be comparing myself to others. What they have, they don't have. By filling that space of joy, to wake up every day and to know that, wow, I'm worth something.
Taking the class Inner Beauty Project made a very huge difference in my life. I have a different view now. I am somebody who God took time to create. He made me so beautiful. I don't have to think negative about myself again.
People in my family have come up to me and I don't even recognize you. You're like a totally different person. I am different. I've had coworkers tell me and people I see every day in my life just say, you're a different person. And it's because I've really done a lot of self-work, internal work on who I am and what is my worth and value. And Inner Beauty Project just opened that door and gave me that huge opportunity to grow.
Gave me the ability to know that I can't be loved, I'm smart enough, I'm beautiful, and I'm worthy. And I thank Nicole for doing that, helping me, and also God for steering me in the right way.
Now it's like, I can look at myself with like no makeup or nothing and just still look and be like, wow, I do look beautiful. I am beautiful.
They can really walk confidently and walk boldly in who they are in their fullness and not being filtered and defined by those outside exposures, if you will. You know, what are the treasures that I have on the inside that are connected to my purpose, that are connected to my why and my sense of being, and just creating a safe space for individuals to do that. And it will be virtual as well.
Sometimes people really just need someone to say, I believe that you can unlock your inner beauty.
Yes.
And they may not have someone in their current life that is telling them that. And just to know that someone believes in you
Absolutely.
can be that motivating factor that keeps you on the journey towards finding and living your most authentic life. It might be the catalyst to get you started.
Yes. And absolutely, having an empowered space of encouragement, and also others that are, encouraging one another. Because we may know it intrinsically, but not necessarily. Like, we know we have inner beauty and we know we have this potential. We aren't necessarily sure on how do we actually unlock it? How do we get there? And so my goal is to, provide very specific, tangible steps, very specific formulas, if you will, as to how do I actually cultivate inner beauty? How do I do that? What does it look like to challenge my beliefs? What are some of the tools that I can utilize to, step further into recognizing the limiting patterns that might be holding me back? And then when I do, how do I recreate ones that are going to, open me up into more of that personal fulfillment? So that's important to me, because I think it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to actually have strategies on how to cultivate it and how to actually, plug it in, that inner beauty. Mm-hmm.
So true. And Nicole, before we go, tell everyone quickly your website where they can find out more information.
Absolutely. So you can be a part of the training that is coming up by going to myinnerbeautyproject.com. myinnerbeautyproject.com. It's once a week for 4 weeks for 4 90-minute sessions.
All right. Thank you so much, Nicole Pillow Johnson, joining us. Nicole with the Inner Beauty Project. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Let's Chat. I'm Shayla Reaves, and I'll see you next time.